Hello guys, this is Joshua Horses. You can tell by the title of the video I'm doing my review for Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Overall thoughts, it's a pretty good film. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to whisper it because you can't get mad and shout and get really mad at someone who whispers. I think this film's overrated. It's not a bad film, okay? Yeah, that is just my opinion. It's not a bad film, it's still a pretty good, enjoyable film. I just think it's overrated. I will be completely honest. I didn't like it. There's nothing. I was like, I'm not. Oh, I said I didn't like it. That isn't true. I do really enjoy this film and stuff, but it's just kind of falls flat. I kind of consider the hype around it. I'm like, why is it this hyped? It's better than episode 4. At the time, it was probably considered a bigger film than it kind of is now, and it's still considered a very important film. So I'm not sure, but let's get into the... First of all, can I just say the cast is pretty much overall. All the actors are great. It's really cool. But let's do all the positives, and then I'll get into some of the negatives. The cast is great. Really good and stuff. Basically, Yoda's kind of training Luke. And that kind of dynamic Yoda training Luke, I thought was really cool thing in the film. And it was really enjoyable. The final lightsaber fight is pretty good. It's 100 times better than the lightsaber fight in episode 4, sorry. Not that that's an accomplishment, but yeah, it was a much better lightsaber fight. I enjoyed it. It kind of showed this kind of dominating kind of feel like Vader's clearly more dominant and powerful over Luke, and he's kind of getting destroyed, but he's very aggressive at the same time. He's just striking down. And he's just kind of, and he as a lightsaber fighter, especially when he comes against Vader in this film, he's pretty weak. And people complain, why in episode 7 she picks up a lightsaber, where it picks up a lightsaber and someone beats where a trained lightsaber used in a fight, but Luke has to train for entire movie and loses a hand. Can you tell me? Name me one scene of Yoda training Luke where Luke actually uses his lightsaber. There's one, but that isn't even hard. He didn't really do anything. It's more like a vision or something he's seeing. So people complain that Rey would never wielded a lightsaber before and able to beat someone who's a trained lightsaber during a fight, but he never used a lightsaber, and they act like, well, he was training for the whole film as a Jedi, even so he never used the lightsaber in any of the scenes, really. So, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed this film, it's still entertaining. Can I just say, Yoda's just funny. In episode 3, he's just, wise I am. Then, in episode 5, he's like this completely cranky old man going, mine, smacking R2-D2 with his stick as a puppet. It's just fun. I just had to laugh at it. I was like, you can tell he's obviously been enjoying retirement, but as a teacher, he's an incredibly good teacher of teaching Luke in the Force, teaching Luke how to become a Jedi. It was really good, and James Earl Jones, who voiced Darth Vader, is great. I said in my episode 4 with you that to be honest, I wasn't really a big fan of. I liked the voice in episode 4, but felt like something was off. Maybe it was just because James Earl Jones was younger, but then he's in this film and he's very more dominant, dark, more evil, kind of sinister kind of way, and I really appreciate it. There's a new character, Lando Calrissian. He's pretty good. He's pretty good for the world. He's really good. I'm going to whisper again so you can't get mad. I personally prefer Donald Glover's portrayal in Solo Star Story. Okay, let's, so you can't get mad at me for saying that because, I whispered, so it's rude to get mad at someone who's whispered. But yeah. Overall, he's good though. He's more developed character than he is in Solo. I prefer him in Solo because he's this young, kind of arrogant, kind of full of himself man, and he's progressed a lot, which is good. A character needs to progress, but he's not as fun, I don't think. But he's still really good in this film. I think it's Billy D. Williams is the name. So overall, the cast is great, and so on. The biggest problem I have, before we get into the biggest problem, the plot twist. I don't really feel for it. I haven't got it any of my top 10 favourite Star Wars moments, just because I watched episodes 1, 2, 3 before 4, 5, and 6, so I kind of knew the twist already. But I can understand, which is why I'm still viewing as a positive. For when the film came out in this time and you see the episodes 4, 5, 6 before 1, 2, and 3, that is a massive deal. That is a huge twist ever. You probably know what twist I'm talking about, but in case there's some people in the world that actually don't know the twist, I'm not going to say it. But yeah, there's a massive twist. And I'm going to still view it as a positive, even so it's not a personal positive. It's more of a worldwide positive, and it kind of it's a huge cinema moment, so I can't really get mad at it. Now, let's get into some negatives. There's one glaring negative. But first of all, before I get to this, you can tell I like the way Luke kind of is very arrogant, kind of, it's very human. I don't think he really gets this human again until episode 8. Another unpopular opinion, I personally loved his performance in episode 8. But let's continue on. Now let's get to some negative. The biggest negative I have with this film is that there's not really a narrative or a plot. Because basically for most of the film, Luke's training to become a Jedi, and Han, Leia, and R2-D2 is with him, and Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and C-3PO are running away from the Empire while fixing their ship. And there's a relationship between Han and Leia that starts to grow. I hope they didn't give away too much, but yeah, that's quite... So basically, the main plot is kind of either Yoda training Luke with no real action. It's cool, it's great, but no real action. Or them trying to run away from the Empire and try and fix the Millennium Falcon at the same time and do a relationship. I felt like it does that well. I just feel the real problem is there's no real big stakes. Yes, it's your key main characters, but I prefer they did something more with the rebellion, the rebels, because we don't really know a lot about them at this moment, and mainly in the entire trilogy, really. We just know these, like, main characters, and we don't even know how the kind of rebels kind of work. That's why I really like shows like Star Wars Rebels and the film Rogue One, because it kind of shows how the society of the rebels work. They don't really do that. They're kind of separated from the rebels and do their own thing, which is a problem, because I want to see how this kind of thing works, because you don't really get a lot of the rebels, especially in episode 4. You don't get reunited with the Rebel Alliance and stuff till near the end, so you kind of, and that's kind of it's not just a problem I had necessarily with these films. It's kind of a problem with Star Wars at home. Even the new films do it a lot better, actually, of kind of you understanding what they're going through. But in this trilogy, you don't understand what the rebels are going through. You just care for your main characters, and that's fine. They're the main characters. But at the same time, I personally want to see how a freedom fighting group fighting for the freedom of the galaxy kind of works. And what they kind of do, because you don't see a lot of it, really. You don't really see a lot of the rules, the regulations, what they do. You just see them get told that you got the plan for a space battle, getting the ships to do the space battle. So, that's kind of a bit annoying that they didn't really go more into the kind of story of the rebels. And I would really like if they did this story about how the rebels kind of originally started. Of course, that's kind of more registered and created through the TV show, but at the time I would like if there was a bit more to the rebels, because you don't really know them. Yes, they're not the main characters, but I want to at least have a good idea of what's going on, because you don't have an idea what's going on. We're just under the impression that they successfully escaped and they've gone their separate way, and Han and his friends had to go another way because it led to that situation. And the rebels don't really feel important, even so they're freedom fighters, they're kind of fighting for the same cause, which is kind of a big flaw there is with this film. And the ending phase, although it's really good, kind of comes out of nowhere. I literally think you could literally have, I think you could pretty much get the idea to take a lot of scenes out, because there's basically you could get the scene that shows they're in space and they've got broken parts of the ship, and I just feel like some of the scenes, don't get me wrong, they're done really well, but I just feel like some you can just pipe out. They don't really feel important to the plot of the movie. And there's not, so that's the biggest flaw I have with this. There's no real narrative to kind of get your teeth into. It's no, like it's very small, closed. It's not, like, out there and open, which is why I love Star Wars. It's such an out there, open, and a vibrant world. And they kind of cramp it all together. Like, there's Luke getting trained by Yoda. That's Leia and Han and Chewie and C-3PO on the Millennium Falcon trying to get fixed, but at the same time escaping the Empire. And the Empire's just trying to get them. And they're not really worried about Luke till near the end. And they treat him as the big deal. Even so, literally in the opening credits, they say that Vader's been searching for Luke. But most of the film, he's kind of feels like he's more aiming for Han Solo and Leia. There's a little bit in that majority where he's that he is interested in getting Luke Skywalker, but that he doesn't really. He wants to get them first, then to get there. And yes, you could say yes, it could say that could be because he wants to find out where he is. But at the same time, I would kind of like it if he was on the search for Luke, not them. I like if he kind of do that. Vader was mainly searching for Luke, while the Empire was searching for the others, and he just kind of focused on him, because then it will create the tension of what if Vader shows up in Dagobah and creates a chain. We have a little lightsaber duel and he confronts Yoda again. Like, what if all this cool stuff happens? So, it's not saying it definitely will happen, but it creates that idea of tension of what if Vader comes and causes chaos, and that's kind of what I need. And another problem I have this film is kind of like the Rebel Alliance just destroyed the Death Star. And yes, I'm not going to say, well, they're still quite powerful and dominant. I mean, they rule the entire galaxy. So, of course, yes, they will suffer, but they won't suffer greatly in that sense. But the thing I was going to... What was I actually going to say? Yeah, another problem with the film is that they don't seem worried about the Rebel Alliance anymore. It's not like the Rebel Alliance are literally the biggest threat. Like, no offense, I'm not saying these main characters aren't important, but if you destroy the Rebel Alliance and it's just them guys versus the entire Empire, the good guys would still lose. So they would still lose. So it wouldn't be more important to go, but instead they go for the main characters, leave the rebels, even so there's an entire army, they don't do anything with it. So that is quite a problem. Like, it seems like they don't worry about it after the opening kind of bit. They seem to not worry anymore about the kind of rebels and stuff. They just want the main people. Yes, you could say they're quite important in authority, but even if they kill them, let's say they killed all the main characters, the rebels are gonna feel like angry that they've just killed them more people, and they would rebel and cause something. So I just kind of felt like it's a good film. Overall, it's a pretty good and enjoyable, very good film. I just felt like there could have been I felt like there's a lot of big stuff, big glaring problems with the film that people tend to kind of get rid of. I feel like, I'm not trying to be rude, because this film is a really good film, But I feel like it's considered as good as it is because of the twist. And I think that's why people consider it an all-time classic. And don't get me, and the twist doesn't appeal to me. So maybe I don't have that kind of connection. Because the twist didn't feel big to me. But yes, that's, I would say, pretty much like it, I'm pretty sure. Overall though, the film is enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with this film. Han Solo's, I would say Han Solo's better in this film than he is in the last. Chewbacca is much better. He kind of felt like more an emotional person. Because in the last film, to be honest, he kind of felt more like wild animal. With this film, they kind of humanize him more, and make him feel like he's an actual person, which I really enjoyed and thought was really good. And I liked it a lot. So overall, I really enjoyed this film. I think it's a really good film. I just don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. And I would personally put it in my top 5 favourite Star Wars films because it kind of just feels like there's nothing important about it. It's just a midget, the middle of the trilogy. Because the biggest problem is, if you take this, you can literally take this film out and kind of get rid of the first half an hour of episode 6, and so you have all episode. So you could literally have, what I would have done is have, and in episode 4 you have him kind of. I'm thinking about it now that wouldn't work, but I just feel like, for the most part, if you took episode 5 out, what really do you miss apart from the twist and something else that gets sorted within the first half an hour? So you can take Sarah off episode 6, and you could just have a flashback at the beginning of the film. You could have this little flashback bit when he hears that his friends are in danger, and he had to, go and save his friends, and then you have the twist, and then you can cut back into the film. I just felt like if you did it that way, with less screen time, you wouldn't miss anything. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating this film. It is a very good, enjoyable film. I just don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. So overall, I would give this film a 7.5 out of 10. It is a very good film. I just think it's quite overrated. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not, turn notifications on so you never miss a video. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.